former US, ano bang sabi niya dito dapat sure tayo ha. Former UN Weapons Inspector and US Marine Intelligence Officer Scott Ritter, may pasabog mga kabibig. Isa itong Amerikano ha. May pasabog siya para sa ating lahat. Sabi niya, we don't like the Philippines. We are not your friends. You are our colonial subjects. We are using you. The Chinese will win. You will be destroyed. Grow up. We will not help you. Nako! Paano na yan? Ano kayang maging reaksyon ng mga galit sa mga Chinese? Nako mga kabibig, wake up Pinoy! Ito'y isang katotohanan nga ba? Nako, panoorin natin ang isang video kung saan talagang itong si Scott Ritter talagang sinabi niya harap-harapan pagsampal sa ating lahat kung gaano tayo ginamit ng Amerika. O manood tayo ha, para naman pa at least nang bakita natin kung ano ang katotohanan. Yung parang hindi tayo maging tanga ba, at least may mga, diba, may mga area na kung saan pwede tayong mag-isip kung totoo ba ito or hindi. Basta bahala na tayo or kayong mag-isip sa mga sinasabi ni Scott Ritter. Okay, ito na ha. Go.
We will not beat the Chinese. We cannot beat the Chinese. And we know this, and yet we're using the Philippines to create the conditions of potential conflict with the Chinese.
Ha? So ginamit lang tayo para magkaroon ng conflict between Chinese? Hulo? Oy, galing niya sa isang Amerikano, no? Former UN Weapons Inspector and US Marine Intelligence Officer. Sinabi niya, ginamit lang tayo ng Amerika para magkaroon ng conflict laban sa China. So tayo ang alkanse. Tayo ang delikado. Kasi pag mag-iinit ito mga taga-China, kung magagalit talaga sila at wala na silang pake kung anong mangyari sa atin, edi pulbos tayong lahat. Nako, sino ba bang hindi maniwala dito? America is here only to use you, Philippines, until there's nothing left. Hello.
Please understand that for the Filipino people, this is a recipe for disaster.
Recipe for disaster. Hello. Ano kaya isasagot ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos dito, no? Go.
Think America is your friend. So too did the Ukrainian people. And they are dying by the hundreds of thousands. Friends don't let friends die in those...
Totoo. So, ang sabi niya dito, akala nyo, kaibigan kayo ng Amerika? Yun din ang paniniwala ng mga Ukrainian, na kaibigan nila ang Amerika. Pero ano nangyari ngayon? Maraming namamatay sa Ukraine. Kasi nabitag sila sa katotohanan. Nabudol sila ng Amerika. Gusto nyo bang mangyari ito sa Pilipinas? Hala. Oh my goodness.
Quantities.
So we'll go to the final question, which I mentioned is from Philippines, and it is from Maria Catherine Suba from Radio Mindanao Network, Minando Network.
RMN.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. It's already 2:57 a.m. here in the Philippines. I am Maria Catherine Suba, a freelance broadcaster. I am a co-host of late Witch Valdez with Itas Valdez in Radio Mindanao Network DZXL, ang ating katipunan show. My question goes to Mr. Scott Ritter. As a former UN Weapons Inspector and US Marine Intelligence Officer, and actually to anyone else who wants to answer, a proxy war is being orchestrated in this part of the world, our country, the Philippines. Our country is actually being used by the US in its intent of war against China. And according to geopolitical analysts, the Philippines will be the next Ukraine. The Philippine President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., has allowed additional 9 EDCA sites, or more appropriately, 9 US military bases all over the country. The armed forces of the Philippines seem to be following orders from their US counterpart. Drumbeats of war is being heard almost every day. Xenophobia is being propagated on mainstream media. Almost every week, there's an incident of Chinese Coast Guard that water cannons a Philippine vessel at the South China Sea. Do you think a false flag operation can happen here as tensions are getting worse? What do you propose for this to stop? Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for the question. Just so you know, I have a little bit of background in the Philippines. In 1986, I was deployed there as a platoon commander to reinforce the Subic garrison after the fall of the Marcos regime. There was concern about the new People's Army. So I have a warm spot in my heart for the Philippines. Let's build upon what Colonel Wilkerson had said earlier. The United States is incapable of fighting a sustained conflict against a peer-level force. The United States cannot fight and engage China and win.
Of course.
We will not beat the Chinese. We cannot beat the Chinese, and we know this, and yet we're using the Philippines to create the conditions of potential conflict with the Chinese.
Oh. So alam pala ng Amerika na hindi nila kaya ang China. Alam ng Amerika na walang laban sila sa China. So ang ginawa nilang strategy ay nagiging pain tayo kapag sisiklab ang away ng China at Pilipinas. So tayo yung pangsalba nila. Tayo yung ginawang, tawag dito, pangpain. Naku, my gosh. Mga kabibig. Hala, ito na ba ang nangyayari sa Pilipinas? Kung posibleng mangyari ito, di ba mga kabibig? Proceed. Naku.
Please understand that for the Filipino people, this is a recipe for disaster.
La recipe for
You think of-
disaster, grabe. Recipe for disaster, itong mga kabibig. O, hindi ako naglibak-lebak without evidence. O, eto, may nagsalita. This is his opinion. His, tawag dito, observation. Recipe for disaster, ito. So, nakahanda ba tayo sa disaster? O, mahilig lang tayo mag-comment sa social media. Ang galing-galing nating mag-comment sa social media. Ang dali lang mag-type sa social media. Pero magkaroon ng giyera, magagamit ba natin ang social media? Wala. Tayo maapektuhan. Because America, sabi ni Scott Ritter, America is here only to use you, Philippines, until there's nothing left. Do we need to wait na wala nang matira sa ating lahat?
America is your friend. So too did the Ukrainian people. And they are dying by the hundreds of thousands. Friends don't let friends die in those quantities. The Ukrainians have been displaced by the tens of millions. Friends don't let friends have their cities destroyed in this manner. Friends don't let friends have families separated, have mothers and children destined to a life of refugee status and perpetual poverty. That's not how friends behave. America has never been the friend of the Ukrainians, and we are not the friends of the Filipinos.
Hala,
We don't like you.
hala.
If-
We don't like you. We're not friends of the Philippines. Oh my God, ang sakit. Grabe. America don't like us. We're not friends with America. We don't like you. Sakit naman.
If we did like you, we wouldn't be doing this to you. We are using you. You are a tool, nothing but a tool. And when the tool ceases to be useful, we will discard you. And discard you means usually after a war that devastates you. We are using you to gain some sort of momentary leverage over the Chinese. We will fail. The Chinese will win and you will be destroyed.
Oh my God.
End of story. It's high time the Filipino people pressure their government to start sitting down and engaging the Chinese government responsibly. China is not your enemy. China is your neighbor. China is your friend.
Totoo. China is our neighbor. China is our friend. Ang dami mga businessman sa Pilipinas, oy. Grabe. Ito, ito ay malaking sampal sa ating lahat. Tawagin nyo na akong pro-China. Bahala na maging pro-China, at least hindi ako mamatay sa gera. Kayo mga anti-China, ready na ba kayong matsugi? Talaga?
China doesn't want war. And if you would engage China in diplomacy, and as we've all indicated here, America has long since lost the skill set necessary to carry out diplomacy, but the Philippine people can reignite this, to relearn it, to use this skill to prevent a war.
Correct.
But if you continue to behave as colonial subjects, and I know that's a sore subject in the Philippines, because you were the colonial subjects of America.
Correct.
We still view you as our colonial subjects. We don't like you. We don't care about you. We just want to use you. Grow up. Grow up and act responsibly. Take control of your own future. America is not here to help you. America is here only to use you until there's nothing left, and then we will discard you on the trash heap of history.
My goodness. Oh, grabe yung mga pasabog. Ginamit lang tayo. I-disregard tayo after, if ever there's a possibility na magkaroon ng gera, para tayong trash. Ako mga kabibig. Sa mga taong hindi pa nagising sa katotohanan, sa mga taong himod puwet sa gobyerno, sa mga taong they believe na maging maayos pa ang Pilipinas o kung kontrahin natin ang China, kayo na ang humarap. Paano na to? Ano kaya ang magiging explanation nyo dito? So kalkalin nyo naman ang mga negative na buhay nitong si Scott Ritter. Sabihin nyo naman, against sa US, itong tao na ito ay mahilig sa fake news. Sabihin nyo naman, fake news ito. Hanggang yun na lang ba ang pwede yung pangbala sa binabato niyang katotohanan na pwedeng mangyari sa Pilipinas? Ang China, hindi kaaway natin. Neighbor natin ang China. Diba? Kung meron talagang magandang foreign policy na i-push ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, there's a possibility na mas mag-grow ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas sa tulong ng mga Chinese. Diba? Nako, nakakatakot naman na pwedeng sisiklab ang gera. Tapos tayo ay ginamit lang ng Amerika. Tool tayo para sa kanilang adhikain. Ano ba ang makukuha ng Amerika sa atin? Wala. Meron ba? Americans only think that we are just trash. Sabi dito, Walang makukuha ang Amerika sa atin, Ano ba ang pwede natin i-offer sa Amerika? EDCA sites? Tapos? Diba? My goodness, kailan ba tayo gigising, Alam nyo, sa panahon ni President Rodrigo Duterte, hindi ganito ka-active ang Americans. Grabe si Digong. Pinanindigan niya na walang Americans. Wala makakapasok ng mga ganitong klaseng tao. Pero ngayon, pasok mga suki, benta EDCA lang. Mga kabibig, I don't know what will be my reaction sa mga pasabog na sinabi ni Scott Ritter. Ano kaya mangyayari, no? Tama kaya mga sinasabi ng ibang tao na tayo ang susunod sa Ukraine? Kasi ang Ukraine naniniwala na kaibigan nila ang Amerika. Ay nako mga kabibig. So, yun na nga mga kabibig ang aking latest lebak-lebak for today. Bahala na kayong mag-isip. Bahala na kayong mag-react, maghimam-himlay sa mga sinasabi ni Scott Ritter kung totoo man ito or hindi. Basta maghanda-handa na lang tayo. Kasi hindi natin kontrolado ang utak ng mga chingkwa. Diba? Kung sugurin nila tayo, ano bang panglaban natin? Meron ba? Ikaw, handa ka na ba? Ano, Batang Quiapo lang? Diba? Ano, amihan lang? Diba? Mga sangre la ba tayo? Ano ba, mga wakwak, mga mamarangga lang ang laban natin? Diba? Ay, nako. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Ano ang yung reaction sa video ito? Bye everyone. See you next time. Ay, nakatakot.